Welcome to the New Heights Show on Education. I'm Pamela Clark, founder and director of the New Heights Educational Group, and I'm here with David Smith, the founder of Silicon Valley High School, who has helped us get these podcasts produced and delivered to you.
Yes, Pamela, when we saw the great things that you and your army of volunteers were achieving at New Heights, we wanted to get involved. We're happy to work with you to leverage the internet and make quality education accessible and affordable to everyone, everywhere.
Thank you, David. We appreciate Silicon Valley High School helping us to get these podcasts out to the hundreds of thousands of listeners from all over the world. So I hope you enjoy the show.
Welcome to the New Heights Show on Education. My name is Freddie, and my main topic is on technology and cyber awareness. I've done episodes on malware, hackers, child cyber awareness, IoT, school cyber awareness, social engineering, and yesterday was You Are the Target. Today I'm going to do something a little different. It's still a tech-related topic, but for today, I'm going to dive into how a middle schooler or high schooler can kind of start their interest in technology by becoming a beginner Jedi Knight in IT. So before I start this topic out, I'd like to ask a few questions. So I assume you like technology. I assume you're always on the computer or on a device playing around with the features. Your friends and family ask how to do certain things on a device. People ask about some recommendations on what computer or phone to get, or you play around with your devices by taking it apart to see how these devices work. Since you've got your technical knowledge, do you like technology as a whole? Do you like talking to people about tech? What do you know about the current trends about tech? Most of all, do you like helping people? These are the questions to ask if you ever want to be involved with IT. That being said, NHEG is a wonderful organization to be part of. Visit our website at newheightseducation.org for more information.
Right now, you might be struggling through your classes or even failing them. You might be worried that you may not finish high school. There might have even been a thought that you may not be smart enough. Well, the New Heights Educational Group begs to differ. We not only think you are smart enough, but with our help, you will complete your high school diploma. The New Heights Educational Group strives to improve your academic success through its tutoring services. To learn more, please visit newheightseducation.org and contact us. New Heights Educational Group, educational resources to help reach your goals.
Now, if you remember, I keep telling everybody about this. You don't necessarily have to be tech savvy to enjoy my shows. I'm usually throwing out analogies here and there, and it's usually about popular media. So it's just to get a better understanding of what my topic is about. So now that's out of the way, let's get to our topic on how to be a student IT or just getting involved with tech. Now, just to give a little backstory about how I got into tech. If you remember my first episode, I infected my family's computer with malware, and I had to come up with the solution to which it took a lot of research and pretty much fiddling around with the computer settings to remove those malwares permanently. So that's one of them. So after a little run-in with malware and probably getting grounded for doing that, I started wanting to learn how computers work, and not only that, my game consoles and how to push their limits by modifications. I was huge into the game console modding scene. Now, a lot of people think that it's illegal, but the short answer is no, it is not illegal. The reason why this isn't illegal is because I didn't do it for the sake of piracy. This is where I started helping people with tech. It was later in my high school years. I used to have my friends coming up to me and ask if I can mod their Sony PSPs. It was the portable PlayStation at the time, and it was popular around mid 2000s, early 2010, I believe. And what I did there was I had to actually cut up the battery, and when you opened up the battery, there's a small board, and I had to remove one of the pins on the chip. And when you put the battery back into the PSP, it would unlock a certain exploit where you can install something called a custom firmware so it could run homebrew applications. So these applications were amazing. So if you didn't have a controller for your computer to play games, you could install that application onto your PSP so that it could act as a controller for your PC. In addition, I also had a friend who somehow couldn't run a game on his computer. What I did, I pretty much took note of what operating system he was running, what are the specs, and I had to check to see if there were any compatibility issues. And just by troubleshooting what was going on with his computer, he got it to run perfectly on his computer. Also, I'm pretty much the tech support of my family. My parents are always needing help to send emails, scan some documents, and just assist them with whatever they need to get their work done. I was there to provide the help they needed on the computer. So this is pretty much where my love for technology grew, but I had a major obstacle. My grades were pretty low. It was so low that I barely graduated high school. Now this is kind of going to be a little heavy on me, but at least I can kind of look back and just laugh at it and say I endured it and I made it. I wasn't the smartest person growing up. I made some questionable choices to the point where it affected me academically and just my life outside of school. Hung out with the wrong crowd, I had no motivation and focus in school, and overall, I just wasn't happy with the way things were going because of the mistakes that I chose to commit. My parents used to tell me that if I don't have the drive, I won't have much of a future because of the negative mindset that I had at the time. What they said didn't really hit me until last semester in high school. I mean, my good friends, they had dreams, big goals, and they were pretty much on the road to success. And when I looked at them, it kind of made me look at myself and just, made me sick at the fact that, my grades were garbage. I was constantly getting into trouble, and I was feeling hopeless at the time. I knew that this had to end, or else I'm going to have to say goodbye to my dreams of becoming the next Bill Gates. Well, one can only dream, right? One of the things I had to ask before grad was this: what am I doing wrong? Well, everything really. I knew I couldn't turn back time and, just fix things. So I had to take some time to just do some self-reflection. There was this one time back in high school when I would just park in a vacant parking lot and just pretty much sit in my car for an hour and just close my eyes and just think of what I could do better. I thought that all these things that were trying to shut me down was a wake-up call. I had to move on and face the obstacle head-on, just becoming more focused, be at peace with my mistakes and learn from it. Just pretty much open my eyes, start the car, and floor the gas to my next destination, which I would call the end game. So the end game, secondly, to me, was a place where it was filled with a question. When you graduate, what do you plan to do and why? I remember my dreams of becoming an IT. Technology was the reason why I couldn't call quits. I have all this tech knowledge, and I pretty much thought, why put it to waste on something that would ruin my life? So I'm almost done with high school. Grad is a few months away, so why stop there? This is where I thought I've decided to give it my all and just speed my way to this destination called success. Going into a demanding career like tech when I used to question my worth was a huge accomplishment for me, from graduating high school to getting a well-paid job after university. If you're a struggling student with dreams or just want to get into tech regardless of where you stand in terms of grades, this episode's for you. I know I'm going to be talking about getting into IT, but I hope you can apply this to whatever dream career is pretty much going to be. So if you're in high school at this point and your dreams are becoming a coder, hacker, or an IT is far from becoming your goal because you're struggling, your grades in math don't look like it could move up to calculus, and unfortunately math is heavily required before getting into computer science in college. You've heard my struggles, so now it's your turn. The great Bruce Lee once said this: In the middle of chaos lies opportunity. It's kind of interesting how this quote is said because it's true. Every obstacle you face or brick wall you come across in the middle of your clouded judgment, you find a way around it despite something holding you back. I'm pretty sure you've heard people say that things happen for a reason. You learn from it, and then you use it to make you stronger. It's important to take those mistakes and use it to your advantage. Then you can go on to move past those pesky equations on your math test or just be a better student overall and be a better person as you grow.
This podcast is brought to you by Silicon Valley High School, the world's fastest growing, video-based, self-paced, teacher-supported, fully accredited online school that's recommended by more than 96% of students. Take individual courses at just $95 each, or earn your high school diploma at any age. Check us out at svhs.co.
Welcome back to the radio show, guys. All right, so we kind of dove into my little backstory. Now let's talk about how I can actually get into tech. Okay, so I assume you're in middle school or in high school, you love technology, and you would like to get involved somehow. You don't necessarily have to be in a university setting to get involved, to be honest. I would say start now, and here is how. That rhymes. So during your free time, get an old desktop computer around your house that still works. Disassemble it and get familiar with the parts of the computer. Try opening it up, and you should notice that one thing that stands out to you, the motherboard. Get yourself familiar with the parts and where they're placed on the motherboard. Get a brief understanding of what the parts are just by Googling it. And then once you get a grasp of pretty much where everything and what everything is, you can close it up and you can see if it will run. The biggest bonus, I would say, is take apart the RAM, take apart the CPU. Take apart the CPU with care. You got to be careful with that. And take apart whatever you see like hanging around, like a network card or video card, whatever. Just take it apart just to get a way better understanding of how you can remove it and how you can just put it back on. And to be honest, it's like playing with Legos, really. So the reason why I'm having you do this is so I can simply just get a basic understanding of computer hardware. Let's say you boot it up and for some reason the computer gives you an error saying it doesn't detect some kind of storage. You can open it up and simply plug the hard drive back into the motherboard and to the power supply. So that way the computer knows that it has something to store data in. Next, I highly suggest hanging out with your computer teacher or even your school's IT department. Express your interest in technology, and you can pretty much expect some tips, tricks, or even learning about the current trends about technology. And if you're lucky, you might be able to volunteer at your school to pretty much help out in maintaining computers, help them set up computers for classes, or even just to help out with a little help desk task by helping teachers remove some kind of malware. If you end up volunteering, it will really look good on your resume. Lastly, take part in science fairs. It's a great way to show off your technical skills. You can learn a handful of both computer science and IT skills that way. There's a website that I checked out called computerscienceonline.org, and that website suggested that elementary all the way up to high school can find ways to get involved in computer science before college. The site suggested that Scratch, which is kind of a coding language for children, except it's like putting together puzzle pieces. And with that, they can create animations and games. Once they reach middle school, they can advance to web development like HTML or CSS, and then go on to the big leagues like C++ to create apps. And they can create apps and a few games. A lot of games are actually written in C++. So yeah, keep that in mind. And for high school, it's pretty much near the finish line to go to college. And by that time, they can just experiment a little more on what they've learned so far. Now, once they have all that knowledge together, they can present their project, and it would be something like robotics, a game they created, and even something they hacked to show off at a science fair. This is something I'd recommend just to get a jump start on their interest in technology. And then I can also talk about the college experience. All right, so now you're in college and you got through the struggles of getting through high school, and it's now time to take classes that finally interest you. Not really. I do have to warn you that your first couple of years is basically a repeat of high school, and you'll be taking something called capstone classes, where you'll still have to take history classes, English, natural sciences, and humanities classes. It's a hard division class for university students, but trust me, if you still remember what you learned from high school, you will be okay for these capstone classes. However, when taking these classes, you will notice that your writing and critical thinking and your logic will improve to a professional level, which is needed to become an IT. As much as I irk capstone classes, I've noticed that it's helped me improve on some skills that would be helpful in the workforce. Here's the good stuff about when you're a college student going into IT. You take the theoretical classes and hands-on IT classes, which is a must. Hands-on IT classes are the best. So, and then you start joining the Information Security Club, or InfoSec for short, or maybe sometimes computer science clubs. Those are really good to join when you're in college, and as well as getting your feet wet with internships. One of the most important things you're going to learn about IT is business. So IT isn't just related to technology, but it also ties to business. You're going to learn why technology is important to a company. Just to give you a little example, I currently work for a company that deals with energy efficiency, and the way IT works here is making sure our office computers are maintained, up to date, and usable to the point where people who work in the office can just send out our installation teams to their locations, and when that's done, we have people who keep track of inventory, keep track of sales, and we also have other people sending memos back and forth through email. Technology plays a vital role in that because we need to keep track of information using our computers and tablets. The IT department makes sure that those are operational so that everyone has the resources they need to keep the company running. Secondly, you are expected to learn the basics of IT, and that means just learning about the typical day of IT, how to act in a workplace, learning the morals and ethics, and when it's okay to even lay a finger on someone's computer. This is important because you don't want that person who is social engineering the user just by handing off a flash drive to someone. So as you start out as an IT, it is important to ask for permission before even laying a hand on that user's device. Best to learn that now, because while you're so excited to start out your internship, you can't just expect to jump the gun so quickly. That user you're trying to help might think you're either have an agenda or just do the whole social engineering thing, or you could just come out as that rude coworker. Then you're going to learn to document your work after everything has either been resolved or hasn't been resolved. You're usually going to run into the same issue where the user forgets their password, so you're going to be jotting down notes on how you did it, and if the same issue pops up for that other user, you have something to look back on. Next, you're going to learn about IT policies and how to make them. You know those papers where you have to sign something that says, by signing here, I comply to the rules and regulations. You're going to be coming up with ways to make sure that computers and devices are handled well in the workplace. I remember I mentioned something in school cyber awareness that policies are there to make you agree to the rules and regulations of computer usage. You want to make sure that your users don't leak confidential information, the devices are handled with care, or just making sure you don't spend time on Facebook checking out memes or whatever Game of Thrones spoiler is posted. And lastly, the ongoing trend of university topics, and now an NHEG topic, really, about cybersecurity. It was thanks to my time at Cal State that I was able to pretty much share what I've learned from Cal State, as well as further research into information security. You'll be learning about companies that have been hacked. You'll be able to hack certain devices, and the importance of ethical hacking, as well as even as far as taking classes in Facebook security, which is a class I really wanted to take, but I couldn't because it was always full. Now, I'm disappointed to say that you don't get much hands-on work. I mean, there are computer hardware and network administration classes just to get you started with computer building and networking. But you'll be learning more if you take up an internship, so keep that in mind. So you've heard my stories, my struggles, and how both my determination and my love for technology got me to where I am today. And as someone who is a part of NHEG, it just felt right, just for me to share with you not only what I know on the technical side, but with personal experience in school, all the way to getting a job after university. I went from someone who thought my life went nowhere to being determined to succeed, all because of technology and just trying to be a strong-willed human being. This could be you. It doesn't necessarily have to be about going into IT, because I mean, what if you wanted to be a doctor, but you're struggling? You have to find what makes you fascinated about medicine, the way human bodies work, and just have that self-reflection time on what brought you so far in life and what part of your interests motivate you. Once you break through your self-doubt, you go into college, which is another obstacle, a big one at that, and then your lifelong obstacle, which is the workforce. Not all obstacles are bad. It's really there just to help you grow, because without it, you can't be stronger as a human being. Funny thing about this episode is that it's not really to help you get involved in tech or just become an IT. I mean, my main goal of this episode really is just to make sure that you find something that sparks your interest during your time of self-doubt and just have that motivate you. But if you're trying to find a way to get your feet wet in tech, I mean, cool. This is a perfect episode for you. My episode is like two paths going into one. It's to help those to be successful in the end. So, yeah, it's possible. Everything's possible, really. So this concludes my topic, and I hope that I have raised successful awareness in ways that you can punch through a brick wall and just walk on to the next path. Okay, so my next episode is going to be different, totally different. I'm going to be taking a break from Tech Talks because I am excited to announce that we have a special guest coming in. So his name is Kevin Coolidge, and he is known for his book series called Totally Ninja Raccoons. All right, everyone, have a good night.
We hope you enjoyed today's show. Don't forget to rate us and follow us on your podcast player. Check out our show page, radio.newheightseducation.org, for monthly announcements and other happenings.